What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. My name is Mike, aka Operation DX, and welcome to the 13th and final episode of Subnautica. As you can see, I have a few extra gizmos and gadgets in my inventory and equipment slots. You probably see that I have a temperature gauge in the lower left, and I have a compass in the upper middle. We're also taking a look at the workbench here, where we can upgrade various pieces of equipment. Our knife, our oxygen tanks, and our flippers. And I was referencing this during the last episode, thinking that I had upgraded my knife to the diamond knife. Remember I was saying that? But I actually hadn't even built the workbench yet. So the diamond knife, I think, is indestructible. You use a piece of diamond and you can upgrade your basic knife and it makes it stronger. And then the oxygen tanks, what I favor is the higher capacity ones. There is also lighter tanks that you can build, but the higher capacity ones obviously give you more oxygen. So you can see I have a higher total even though I have just 2 oxygen tanks. And then third, you can do a couple different things with your flippers. The one I prefer is the one that recharges your equipment. So my flashlight or my welder can be recharged with those fins while I'm using it. Alright, so I have a couple of different areas marked off here on the map, and essentially what we're going to be doing during this episode is a tour of what I've been working on the side with a different save file, just to kind of show you what is capable, and a few scenic locations in this game. So this is a underground kind of hidden spot. The biome name is slipping my mind. I think it's called like the Shroom Caves or something like that, or something on that vicinity. It has a couple of interesting features, and these aren't features exclusive to this biome, but this biome just happens to have them. So I have a little bit of a base here that I built down here so I could check this out in a kind of relaxed manner if I just want to sit here and just kind of watch these kind of geysers explode. And these are actually deadly to the player. If you are anywhere near these things when they explode, they do a ton of damage. They can kill you, I think, in one shot. These are not to be mistaken with the same geysers that are in the Grand Reef region. Those kind of let off like a heat source where you can use your thermal power plant. And you can use your thermal power plant in this. You just got to be careful because you don't want to get too close, because you can see there's actually, this is a lava area, and it's an active lava area. So it's shooting off spikes of gases and hot gases and all that. So you can see that the temperature is a little bit higher. I can't remember the exact temperature to where your thermal power plant actually starts to actively gain energy. I think it's somewhere around 13, 14 degrees. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, you can actually do a thermal power plant. However, I decided to do a nuclear power plant on this guy. And we'll go ahead and take a closer look on that on the outside. And as I was talking about, this is another item that wasn't textured, kind of like the boxes that you find for the tech. And yeah, I find that kind of interesting. That's probably something, like I said, they may not be happy with the model. They may be making additions to the model, and then they might go ahead and texture that. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this is a very interesting biome, and it's very, very close to where you start. So there's some critical things in here that you can get for some higher end pieces. I think you need something that's inside of the shrooms to actually make either the compass or the thermostat. I believe it's the compass. Alright, anyway, here is the main base that I was working on, and as I expressed during the previous episode, this was not built in creative mode. I built all of this, I gathered all the resources for it, so it's not super ultra elaborate, but it's elaborate enough to be kind of interesting. I think this is kind of a really cool base. There's lots of things that you have to do when you start to get to lower depths in the game, like reinforce structural integrity, and there's a couple different ways you can do that by placing down it's kind of like you got to mix lithium with titanium, and you place these kind of blocks inside of certain regions, and it makes the structure stronger, and it gives you an overall whole number, and it tells you how strong your structure is. And if that drops below 0, then you start to take damage and it will fill up with water, and like you'll start having damage like start appearing all over your place. But this was one of 2 of the observatories I have, and this one's hidden behind a bulkhead door just for protection to add structural integrity. Also, it was kind of noted that I should, in the comments, not ignore the smaller lockers because you can name them, and that is huge because you can make categories like metal and glass and all that, and I think that is great because I like to keep everything neat and tidy. I've also used a lot of glass in this particular base, so that's why I have a lot of structural reinforcement. You can see the structural reinforcement parts as I walked in this room. It's like the little corridor with the X on it kind of thing, so that just makes it a little bit stronger. And yep, so this is a secondary level here, and we climbed up a ladder. You couldn't really tell. I don't think all the animations are in the game yet, so that's probably something that they might work on. Although there are places in this particular base where you climb up a huge shaft, so I don't know how they would work that as far as animation, because you can see I've got a huge shaft going all the way up to the surface there. But yeah, pretty much when you click on it, you're right down the level here. We're just going to do it right now. Click, bam. You really can't tell what's going on unless you're actually kind of playing the game. We're back on the main level where we have the moon pool, and I have this actually also placed behind a bulkhead door. And this ladder goes all the way up to the surface where I have the Cyclops kind of parked. And it's just kind of a nice addition. And then we can have a little scenic view of the Aurora out there. We can see our escape pod kind of sitting above there where their base is located. And we have a little platform here. The entire thing is powered by 4 solar panels, which is more than sufficient for pretty much this entire base. We didn't need to go nuclear unless we were going to build our power down below, but that's kind of why I wanted to build up and above the surface. And that really kind of makes a difference. So that's kind of one option that you could do in this game. And then we have, not 2. I actually have a 3rd observatory here. So I spent a good deal of time getting those stalker teeth because each observatory requires 3 of the special glass. So I needed at least 9 teeth to actually build that with all the quartz and stuff. And you guys seen it. I've done a lot of resource hunting in this game, so you know what it takes to get all that glass together. It's 3 quartz and all of that. So this is my main base here, and I think it was very fun to build. Not much else I would really want to do with it, maybe except for maybe add some external lights kind of thing, but that's not available in this game, and the game automatically kind of handles that sort of thing. So I think it looks really good. Alright, so here's a perfect opportunity to get out of the Seamoth and use my Stasis rifle, because, again, one of the comments was, is there a better way to catch fish? Yes, there is. So you use this guy here, and it freezes everything inside of this bubble. One of the comments was saying how it's really hard to actually hit the fish, but what I do is just aim for the ground where there's a lot of fish, especially these kind of fish here, because they give you, I think, the most food in the game compared to the peepers. So, and they're just so plentiful down here that it's just a non-issue, really. There's so much food to be had. It's really not a problem. All right, so now we're off to a location that I definitely wanted to show you guys in this series because I think it's really interesting. Now, originally, I had thought that it was part of the Grand Reef region that was sticking up out of the ground, but I believe that's incorrect. I think that this was intentionally created as its own entity, its own biome, because it doesn't have plants and, trees and all that look like the Grand Reef. It has its own kind of thing, and it's got a really interesting kind of underground. So this is essentially like a floating island of some sort. If you notice, like throughout my play, there was some rocks kind of like hanging up in the ground. They had these little pink things attached to them, and they were floaters. I assume that these are just massive versions of those floater kind of things, and they're keeping this island up. So we're kind of reaching this island right in the crack of the morning here, almost during the daytime. Could kind of break out my flashlight here, but not really all that necessary because we're lit up. But there is some very similar things going on in this particular biome, like there was in the underwater thing, like with the glowing trees and all that. And that's why originally I thought, oh, this is part of the Grand Reef thing. But no, I think this is its own entity. You can see that there's trees and plants, and they're all different from the different areas that we've been through. So I think this area is really cool, and it would be really neat if they utilized it for some purpose in the game to, you know, hide some special technology or add some story elements to it, or anything of the above would be really, just really cool. There's, again, like I said, there's so many different directions. I've talked about this throughout the series that they could go in to make things, you know, even more interesting than they already are. But this game is definitely on the right track, and I had a lot of fun playing through it. This is probably the third time that I've played through this game. So I did it, you know, once before the Let's Play. Really enjoyed myself. And then I did it again for the Let's Play. And then, not really like a full-on third playthrough. I just kind of did the base building thing, which I also really enjoyed because I really started to get into it. And just, I didn't mind collecting the resources so much. When other people aren't watching, you know, it's not so much of an issue because you're just playing the game for yourself, and it's I don't know. For me, it's like a less of a worry. I'm not so concerned about, oh crap, are these guys getting bored of what I'm doing here? And yeah, I have a bad problem driving this thing sometimes. Just damage the crap out of it all the time. This is part of the fun, though. But you can see there's resources freaking everywhere, all over this place. This is a great place to find quartz. I mean, once I was told in the comments that this particular vehicle can go below 225 without taking hull damage, man, I was going to town with this thing, man, looking for like some new stuff. I'm like, oh, what can I show in the final episode that would be really cool? And there's 2 more fish down. I don't know if that's actually killing the fish or not. That's being no good. I'm taking out my food supply. All right. I could actually drive the Seamoth to this last underground base, but I want to use this thing here just to show you guys, because this is another thing that I didn't do during the series. And this is something that would have greatly helped me get around a lot faster. And these particular parts, I would have been able to drive around a lot more, get more stuff done faster. I probably would have been able to find the moon pool and the nuclear reactor all in one swipe kind of thing if I would have built that. But yeah, for whatever reason, I didn't. But I didn't feel like I lost focus. I really felt like I was just going and jamming. I mean, the episodes were short, 15 minutes long, and I was doing as much as I possibly could per episode, not wasting any time at all, kind of stopping and, you know, smelling the roses per se, like I'm going to do right now, just kind of stop, and this is a nice thing to do. Sit down on the bench and check things out, and it's cooler when there's like things going on, like fish flying around and all that. For whatever reason, when you sit down on the benches, the labels for the beacons go upside down. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed the series, even though it was pretty short. Lots of fun. This game's fantastic. I will be watching for future updates and definitely see what this thing's going to bring to the table. I also hope that you guys enjoyed this series and you're not upset with me for kind of closing up shop, because there's really not much else to do. I mean, I could have shown you the tedious resource collection while I built the base, but I was trying to spare you that for this final episode. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great day and take care.